Hello and welcome to the Away Day Show. This is Back of the Net with the AFC Bournemouth fan channel. And we go to every single game, including the away games, which means we can form a tier list that ranks how good or bad they are. And this season, Tom, we've had some pretty good ones and one not so good one.
Yeah, that's true. And to be fair, it's been quite nice for the tier list because it's been quite varied, hasn't it, in the away days. And we've got to make that point that it's nothing to do with on the pitch. Yeah. Nothing to do with the results. It's all about everything off the pitch for an away day experience. So yeah, we'll see where today's team fare, mate.
So a tier list, that's where you rank them and you put them in the tiers. But what are the categories within the tiers, mate? We need to know.
So should we start? We'll start at the bottom,
okay,
and then we'll go up. So at the bottom, what a waste of petrol, which is basically, it's not what you want for an away day. Everything about it was pretty poor. So we have got one in there at the moment, which is a shame, but West Ham is in there at the moment. Then we got to meh, not the best. So yeah, it wasn't the worst it could be, but I wanted a bit more for my away day. And then in the middle, as expected, is can't complain. So yeah, all good, decent day, but it could be better. And it's not quite a decent day because that's the one above it. So that is slightly better than you'd expect, really. And it was a good away day, and we're happy. Right at the top, where there's also one team in there, Newcastle. Banging visit.
All right, so what kind of categories do you use in order to create this decision then, mate? I mean, there's got to be a few.
Yeah, so we go, as I said before, nothing to do with what's on the pitch, there's everything around that. So when you go to the away game, you get your pre-match experience.
Right,
so
okay.
The travel up there, how was it to get up there? What was it like before the game?
Parking, pubs,
yeah, parking,
cafes,
pub, cafe, whatever you do before the game. So everything before the game actually kicks off.
Makes sense.
Then you go to the concourse and the refreshments, so probably more at half time, but you might be able to do it just before the game, and you see what that's like. Then you go into the stadium itself and the view, what's it like as an away fan from watching aesthetically and all that stuff. Then the atmosphere, and this is on obviously the home fan atmosphere and what's that like, and probably easier as we go along comparing to other teams, but what the home fans are like in terms of vocal decibels and all that. Yeah. And at the end we go to the people. We've added this category in this year because we like to talk to, on our matchday vlogs and stuff, we talk to a lot of the home fans. So what are the people like? What do they think of Bournemouth? And are they approachable and all that stuff?
Right, okay then, so which club are we doing this week, Tom? I think your fingers are going to let us know. Chelsea! Oh, interesting. You know what? Had some good games against Chelsea over recent seasons, haven't we?
Yeah, I think before we make sure that we don't go to what happened on the pitch in previous times.
Nothing about the football.
Previous times, we've had some amazing moments on it. But this is all about off it, which I'm really pleased about this time because it wasn't quite as good on the pitch for Bournemouth. So yeah, it's all about off the pitch, and yeah, Chelsea around the Christmas period.
We always love a London game, so you'd think that would naturally make us score them higher. And look, it's less than 2 hours in a car, and what we did was we parked at Richmond, didn't we?
Yep.
Which we've done for previous games like Fulham, and then we've hopped on the train or tube at Richmond Station, and then this time I think we got off at West Kensington or something. And we sort of look, there are pubs you can go nearer the stadium, but sometimes they get a little bit too busy. Yeah. And from visiting like London games over the last few seasons, we're going a little bit outside that, aren't we? And this time we went to a pub called Curtains Up.
Curtains Up, that's right. Yeah, I think we got off one stop earlier than you would normally go to Scram, just because, I think when you don't have much time and you're in London, you want to get to a place where you can sit down and have something to drink and not have a massive queue. So that's what we did this time round. Curtains Up, nice little pub, I thought.
It's a pub that's got a theatre inbuilt into it, which is quite cool. I mean, prices are London prices, but there were a few Chelsea fans in there. It was a little bit quieter, which was nice. You didn't have to raise your voice in order to chat to the person next to you. And it was quite handy for me because at the time, my left ear wasn't working particularly well because of the flu and everything. So I could actually hear the people that I was speaking to, mate, just about.
Pardon? No, exactly, and the weather wasn't great either, so it was nice to have a decent sized pub there where you could sit down. But I enjoyed it, mate. I did enjoy it. I feel for Chelsea in the sense that because of the time we've gone there around Christmas meant that pre-match was quite difficult because you normally can go a little bit more spontaneously to London, you go get to London, see what happens. But you kind of had to plan because of the train.
Was this a 5:30 kickoff, was it?
So train strikes and all that rubbish. So
and look, we're going to have to take that into account because like usually for a London game, we would always get the train, but at the moment they're all over the place, and even even for some of the games later in January, there are trains, but due to engineering works, they're just taking ages because they've got to go slow between two particular sections. So, and then it was from there. It was a relatively long old walk to the stadium in the pissing wet, which wasn't good. So have we created our own downfall by going to this pub? Could we have done better with the pre-match experience here, or
a little bit?
Do you think it was probably the right choice?
I'd probably take an extra 10-15 minute walk for an extra couple of drinks because the queue was less, and I didn't mind the pub. So I'm happy with the decision. But the weather didn't help because it was a bit of a walk for us. But it was okay. I was happy.
And on the way, Steve Hensman had his kids and they popped into a local newsagent trying to get this prime drink. Never heard of it, mate. KSI and Logan Paul's drink. What the hell? There are people fighting an Audi over this thing.
I'm a lot kind of younger and a bit more hip than you, and I know all about prime. Good drink, good energy drink. And Logan Paul, KSI, big YouTubers.
Yeah.
They're probably watching because they like their YouTube content. But that does seem it's absolutely mental, isn't it? Some of the fights you've seen over it. But I saw Steve's boys see a prime in a shop and ran in. They didn't come out of any because Steve was not paying that, and fair play to him.
All right, then, pre-match experience. What we're going to do, we're going to rate this out of 10, and then it's going to help us mould our overall tier rating. So pre-match, how are you feeling about Chelsea?
I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10.
6, okay.
Decent.
6 it is. Concourse and refreshment. One thing I thought, mate, it's actually very tight and very small in there. It's not exactly spacious in there.
No, it's not. I've been there a few times, and I've always thought that it's not ideal. I went down a bit early to make sure because I know it can get quite rammed in there. I always have a pint at half time.
What do you have?
Singer.
Oh, okay.
First singer of the season. They had a
Wow.
singer. I think that's how it's pronounced, but. Not a bad lager, didn't mind that.
Yeah.
Makes a change from Cardinal Castle, so I was happy with that. I think it was standard fodder in terms of kind of, I didn't actually have any food, but I think it was kind of, your standard hot dogs and stuff like that. It's okay, it's a little bit tight, but it's all right. It's nothing to complain about, I wouldn't say. They don't let you out half time, but as we've noticed this season in the Premier League, compared to the Championship, not many do.
Yeah.
So, fair enough.
Staff were a bit
Yeah.
overzealous with some people who had like digital camera. I mean, look, I have my little vlogging camera and it's so small that I didn't get. But there are other people that had certain equipment, and not to do anything nefarious or whatever. They were just there to take pictures, and they were very I don't know.
Overly on it, aren't they?
Uptight, a bit uptight about it. But apart from that, I mean, I suppose it's standard.
Yeah.
Smaller concourse, we've seen that even at Spurs, which are brand new stadiums. Massive capacity, of course. And then you've got away fans in this little concourse. Out of 10?
I'm going to go straight down the middle as average, so I'm going to go for a 5.
For a 5. Okay, a stadium in view then, Stamford Bridge, of course. It's been redeveloped over the years, and they're looking to develop it further. At one stage, I think they were looking to sort of dig down in order to put more seats in, and whether that's going to happen or not, I'm not too sure. Maybe Chelsea fans who are watching could let us know what the plans are for Stamford Bridge. But where we are in the shed end, you sort of get a corner, don't you?
Yeah.
So you're kind of behind the goal, almost similar to St Mary's at Southampton, where you're behind one of the halves, and then it just goes around. But obviously you're in 2 different tiers as well,
Yes, of course.
which means you sometimes struggle to get a bit of an atmosphere going.
Yeah. It's tough. It's not ideal.
Safe standing though.
Yeah, always helpful. But it's not ideal sometimes with trying to with the away fans trying to get that kind of in sync going with chants and things. We were in the upper, weren't we?
The view's all right though.
The view is okay. I don't mind the view at all.
We were sort of level with the goal line. But I thought sometimes you're sort of straining your eyes a little bit, but I didn't find myself doing that once. It's a really nice perspective actually.
Yeah, no, I do quite like the view, and the stadium itself is all right. I don't mind Stamford Bridge at all. It's it's got a nice balance in there, and as you say, actually thinking about other ones, it's probably quite a good view.
Yeah.
I was relatively happy with that, and I'm gonna be pretty kind on this one. I'll go for a 7. I didn't mind it at all.
7. Okay. Right. Let's talk about the atmosphere now. We're not grading our own fans, we're grading the home fans. And look, it was a convincing 2-0 win for Chelsea. And obviously, look, we don't take the football into account, but obviously what happens on the pitch does probably contribute to how loud the fans are. And let's face it, whilst it was a 2-0 half, because they didn't score in the second half, it probably could have been 4-0.
Yeah.
In fact, they did score one that was disallowed through VAR. So their fans should have been raucous, they should have been loud. What were they?
Pretty hopeless.
wasn't impressed.
And disappointed, and it'll be interesting, as you say, if any Chelsea fans listen, if that is... Because I do appreciate with Bournemouth, and just sometimes these bigger clubs kind of be like, oh, it's hard to get up for
Is it like us playing, I don't know, Kidderminster Harriers in the Cup?
Yeah, no, exactly. So I do get that, but we're just going off our experience. And weird one, because Chelsea aren't on a good run, and they weren't on a good run going into this. And they finally had a game where it was quite a comfortable, comprehensive win, where they performed pretty well. I can't remember a song. Probably, I mean, there were a few that haven't been good this season. You can see if you look at some of the other previous reviews. I think like West Ham, Liverpool, a few of them weren't good. This was, I mean, it's in there. It might even be the worst because I can't remember anything.
Well, sometimes the atmospherics and the weather means that, you know, maybe fans are singing, but it just gets lost in the conditions. But it's actually such an enclosed cauldron that you definitely know that the atmosphere wasn't like it should be.
And you mentioned before, which was a good point, that I've every time I've been there in the past, we've done really well, and I've always thought, okay, maybe that, because I've never been impressed by the Chelsea atmosphere, but I thought, but Bournemouth have been there and beaten them, so maybe that's really killed them off, and I think a few of their managers have gone after that, so they're probably not in a good place. This time, they finally got a win, they performed pretty well, and it was exactly the same, and that surprised me.
I'm going to throw something else into the mix. Could it just be a sort of negative vibe thing? Because Potter, I don't think exactly has earned his stripes just yet.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be a contributing factor.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point, and as I say, it will be interesting if Chelsea fans, any watching, say, actually, our atmosphere needs to get better, or actually it's kind of what's going on at the moment.
But we can only judge it on what we hear.
Exactly, and I'll also, if there are any kind of like neutral fans that have been to Chelsea this season,
tell us.
Have they been better when you went there, or is this kind of an ongoing theme? I'm not sure, but I think because of the way the game went, I thought, this would be interesting, because it's different to when I've come to the Bridge before, where it's normally been our playground and we've taken the points. Not anymore. But yeah, it was. I was disappointed. It was really bad. I've got to be honest. It was really bad.
So it has been our playground. So in a roundabout way, could you let us know out of 10 what your score's going to be?
1.
He's swinged from. I'm trying to get roundabout.
Swing
from.
Before my time, mate. Before my time.
1 out of 10. All right, okay. The people, mate.
Yeah.
Chelsea fans, on the whole, are they a nice bunch?
They seem a decent bunch in person, I would say. Yeah, they do. I don't know. I'm trying to think on the vlog and stuff like that. We spoke to a few, didn't we, now and again, and they seemed all right. They always seem a nice bunch, and there's a few kind of in the online world as well that seem like a nice bunch as well. It's they've probably. I wonder if they've developed quite a lot of new fans over the recent times as well.
There's a definite split. You've got your older fans, and it is a generational thing. You've got your older fans who are more grounded, who probably were sceptical of the Russian takeover at the time, and they are kind of less glory hunters than a certain generation that popped up when they were winning trophies all the time.
Yeah, of course.
They're more level-headed, but you always see your fans who completely lose their shit when results go particularly bad or whatever. Yeah. But, I think on the whole, the people that we bumped into were fairly good. And look, if you're going to take the, for instance, Rory Jennings, that we know is a Chelsea fan. Do you think he keeps it real when it comes to Chelsea?
Probably a little bit. I think he'd be the first to say he's likes to be a bit clickbaity sometimes, because he knows how to play the game.
No.
But I think deep down, he wants what's best for the football club. They've got quite a few in the online world, haven't they? That kind of do bits, and I don't mind them. I do watch some of their stuff.
Lewis from Chelsea Fan TV, quite a real fan, I think. And
was he the one that done one in the away end of the Bournemouth before, when we spanked them 4-0?
Absolutely
fuming.
Yeah, and also we did a vlog for the 3-0 at their place as
well.
Okay. But he does. I think like he's in the middle. I think he keeps it relatively real, and obviously when you're so annoyed at a performance, you do talk a little bit condescendingly about the opposition, like, they're a pub team, they're this and they're that, and you kind of expect that.
Of course.
Because it's just frustration. But on the whole, they're actually all right people.
They're all right, and we briefly met Sophie, didn't we, when we done the overlap, and she's definitely one that tries to keep level-headed as well. So yeah, they're all right bunch, and I kind of almost wish I didn't like him as much, because I don't really like Chelsea. Spoiler alert for any Chelsea fans there. It's not even their fault.
No.
It's just that they've got all the money, right? They got amazing players, and then they went, "You're not allowed to sign any more players." A few years ago, you're not. All right, we'll just bring all these amazing academy players in. Then, oh god, go away! And so lucky.
They're a club that I think are tarnished over different periods of time. Obviously, they had they're sort of, they sack every manager every 2 weeks or whatever. That was their thing. Now I think they passed that baton on to Watford, who seem to be of that ilk. But I think, obviously, they're showing signs of trying to do something different with Graham Potter.
And no owners now.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily working straight away, but look, in terms of the people.
Yeah, in terms of people, they're all right. They were fine. Probably didn't speak to as much as I would have liked, but I'll give them a 7 because no problems at all with any Chelsea fans I've met and spoken to.
This is quite mixed so far. So we've got the tier list on screen right now, and this is about the visit itself. Nothing to do with the football. We're not bitter.
No, not at all.
But okay, look, I'm going to say it wasn't a banging visit. I wouldn't even say it was a decent day.
No, probably not.
But
it's not a waste of petrol, is it? It's not the worst. It's not West Ham.
No, exactly.
Chelsea be
it's
happy
not a
with
waste of petrol. Yeah, so I would say it's in the tier 3 or tier 4 here.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I'm kind of thinking of this now, kind of on the spot. That I have to think, and what's good is they can never say there's any bias because we've got a 9-0 defeat in decent day, mate.
we have.
So we do try and take it away from that. But yeah, it's. The thing is, I think you can see from all the categories, it feels very much like, so you kind of think on middle, but the atmosphere was that bad
it was pretty
that
cool.
I can't put it with City and Leeds. I can't, mate. I honestly can't. Yeah. So it's going in the one below that. Mayor, not the best, and they're the first ones in that category, but I think that's fair. Yeah. Let me know, I think that's fair. Do you agree?
Not the best. Yeah, I think it probably...
It's closer to can't complain than what waste of petrol, I'll give them that. And we will probably, if you watch this for the first time, near the end of the season, we will probably go over all the games again because it's easier to compare.
I think
you go.
Even if Bournemouth had done the usual thing and won at Stamford Bridge, what it would have done would have inspired the home fans to be more raucous and try to get up for it,
maybe,
and make more noise, which maybe would have elevated it to a place or two.
Maybe.
I don't quite know, but.
It would have been in one of them too, 100%.
I think it's, some people talked about the prices of the food and stuff, which, you
You're
can...
in London, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no, and I think, as I quickly mentioned there, we do normally try and go back because obviously the later you are, the more we can compare to other teams. Yeah. And I think that's probably affected Chelsea here as well because I look at the two in can't complain and think Leeds and City were miles better away days than this game. By the way, we shipped a load and lost both of them games, so it's nothing to do on the pitch. No. But yeah, I'm going to go one lower than them two and go, meh, not the best.
Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments. Let us know what pubs we should be going to next time. Let me know how the experience could be improved because we will be a Premier League side next year. Please. Hope so. Until the next one, where it's going to be Manchester United that's reviewed. See you soon. Love the chairs.
Love the chairs.